In the bustling village of Windfair, nestled between the great Skydancer Mountains and the Whispering Woods, a tempest was brewing. Young Aelin, tousle-haired and with eyes bright as the summer skies, stood at the edge of the village, gazing up at the swirling clouds above. Unbeknownst to the villagers, the day would unravel with an uncanny spectacle that lay hidden within nature's chaos. Aelin's heart raced as the wind howled a song only a windcaller could discern. It was different, carrying the weight of an ancient secret about to be unveiled. The prophecy, long buried in the annals of Arinthia's lore, was about to collide with destiny. Halfway through one of her routine lessons under the wise tutelage of Elder Marion, Aelin felt a jolt, like a spark igniting the atmosphere. A flash of light streaked across the sky, too solid, too real to be dismissed as mere lightning. "Aelin!" Elder Marion's gravely voice broke through her trance. "The skies communicate, and you must listen." Aelin nodded, feeling the surge of wind urging her feet toward the woods, where the mysterious light had landed. She hesitated, knowing the risks that lay beyond the village's boundaries, but the pull was irresistible. "Go, child," Elder Marion encouraged. "The path is yours to discover." With determination taking the reins of her heart, Aelin sprinted into the thicket, branches brushing her cheeks and the cool air sharp against her lungs. The trees parted as if recognizing her urgency, guiding her deeper into the forest. There, nestled in a bed of ancient ferns, lay a shard, small, yet vibrating with an energy that resonated with her very soul. Its ethereal glow mirrored the twin moons above, and as she reached out a tentative hand, an overwhelming warmth enveloped her. "Aelin!" A voice, urgent and unfamiliar, greeted her from the shadows. Ithron, the Shadowmancer, emerged with his cloak billowing around him like a living shadow. "You mustn't linger," he warned, eyes dark but sincere. "The shard draws more than just the curious." Aelin hesitated but felt an unspoken trust link her to this enigmatic figure. "Then what do we do?" she asked, clutching the shard closer. "We must gather the others," Ithron replied cryptically, a shadow of a smile hinting at his lips, "and prepare for the journey that lies ahead." With the shard in hand, and 1,000 questions racing through her mind, Aelin took a deep breath and followed Ithron further into the unknown. Under the protective canopy of the Whispering Woods, Aelin and Ithron moved swiftly, their footsteps muffled by the carpet of fallen leaves. The shard's glow pulsed in rhythm with Aelin's racing heart, casting a soft light that danced upon the trees, illuminating Ithron's path. "Tell me about the others," Aelin urged, her voice barely above a whisper. "These allies you speak of." "Patience," Ithron replied, his voice calm yet firm. "Each of them has heard the call in their own way. You'll understand soon enough." As they ventured deeper, the sound of the forest grew softer, as if the woods themselves were holding their breath. They emerged into a clearing where moonlight spilled like liquid silver. There, by the banks of a gently murmuring stream, stood two figures waiting. Leora, the sprightly forest guide with hair like copper and eyes that shimmered with mischief, greeted them with a welcoming smile. Beside her stood Eldrin, the curious scholar, whose spectacles perched precariously upon his nose as he scribbled furiously in a weathered tome. "Aelin, meet Leora and Eldrin," Ithron said, gesturing to each in turn. "They are as much a part of this prophecy as you." "Pleasure to meet you," Leora, extending a hand. Her grip was firm, her gaze unwavering. "Yes, yes," Eldrin added absent-mindedly, barely glancing up from his notes. "Fascinating developments. Quite unprecedented, really." Aelin felt a twinge of excitement ripple through her. This motley ensemble of newfound companions held the key to unraveling the mysteries surrounding the shard. "We all feel it, don't we?" Leora said, her voice dropping to a more serious tone. "An awakening, a summons pulling us together." "A celestial connection," Eldrin interjected, finally closing his tome with a decisive snap. "The signs have been written for eons." Aelin nodded, sharing the profound sense of destiny tingling at her fingertips. She revealed the shard from beneath her cloak, its light brightening their faces. "With this we may finally find the celestial seers," Ithron said earnestly, glancing between his companions, "and learn how to prevent the darkness from consuming Arinthia." "But it's not just about reaching them," Aelin remarked, a newfound clarity in her voice. "We have to understand, reawaken the celestial heart." Ithron finished. "Only then can balance be restored." The four companions stood united under the twin moons, a silent vow binding them as they prepared to step beyond the veil of familiarity. And thus, the journey began in earnest, the whispers of destiny urging them onward into the night. As dawn's first light swept the sky, painting it in hues of gold and pink, the group set forth, leaving the safety of the whispering woods. Island felt the weight of responsibility mingling with a newly found hope, as the shard's glow tapered with the coming sun. The path laid ahead was fraught with uncertainty. Yet, guided by Leora's intimate knowledge of the land, they moved with confidence, tracing routes long forgotten by the world. "Trust me," Leora assured, pointing to a lesser-known path beyond the hills. "This way will keep us hidden from prying eyes." Island glanced at Eldrin, who for once was not lost in his scholarly musings, but was observing the surroundings with a sense of wonder. "Have you ever seen the world so alive?" he mused aloud, catching Leora's attention. "It's always been there, waiting for someone to rediscover its secrets," she replied, her gaze adrift over the rolling hills. Ithran, walking at the rear, maintained a vigilant watch. Shadows flitted across his face with each step, his senses attuned to any threats lurking beyond their sight. The journey was not without its trials. By midday, the sun bore down relentlessly, testing their resolve. Just as exhaustion threatened to set in, they reached the outskirts of an ancient ruin, its stones whispering stories from times long past. "We rest here," Ithran declared, seeking the shelter of the ruin's weathered arches. "We need to strategize our next steps." As they gathered in the shade, Aelin spread out a rudimentary map of Arinthia. "We're heading for the valley marked by the crescent peaks. Legend says the celestial seers once dwelled there." Eldrin tapped his chin thoughtfully. "Their wisdom is essential, yet we must remain cautious. The spectral beasts guarding the lands are not mere fables." Aelin nodded, glancing at the shard. "We have its light and our united strength. We'll face whatever looms in those shadows." Their rest was brief but rejuvenating, spirits bolstered by the shared purpose that bound them. As they resumed their journey, a renewed determination infused their steps. Her mind wandered to the vision she had seen in her dream, a great celestial sphere beating like a heart, commanding the cosmos and wielding untold power. Was it truly real? And if so, could they awaken it? The realization settled within her, as gentle as the breeze among the leaves. Their role in this cosmic drama was more critical than any of them could fathom. "We forge ahead," Aelin affirmed to her companions, her voice unwavering. "Together we'll bring light to our world. Whatever challenges await, we'll overcome them." With the path laid out before them, and with hope stirring in their chests, they ventured onward, the weight of prophecy and possibility resting on their shoulders. The drama of Arinthia unfolded in vibrant colors as Aelin and her compatriots trekked deeper into the heart of the Forgotten Realms. Verdant valleys and towering mountains rose and fell in grandiosity, painting a tapestry of awe and mystique. Each step carried them closer to their destiny, a potent mixture of excitement and trepidation lingering in the air. Amidst the wondrous landscape, Aelin struggled with her own doubts. The enormity of the quest was daunting. Could she truly rise to the expectations placed upon her? Ithran, ever perceptive, noticed her hesitation. "Doubts are natural, especially for one so young," Ithran said softly, falling into stride beside her. "But remember, the shard chose you for a reason." Aelin met his gaze, emboldened by the sincerity she found there. "I just worry? What if?" "If the shard believed otherwise, it would fade," Ithran interrupted gently. "You have more strength than you realize." Aelin nodded, a small smile creeping across her lips. As if to punctuate the moment, Leora called out from ahead. "You might want to see this!" she shouted, her voice infused with a thrill of discovery. The group rounded the bend to find themselves overlooking a vast haven nestled between jagged cliffs. At its center lay a crystal-clear lake whose surface reflected the splendor of the sky. Veilwater Lake, Eldrin identified, excitement gleaming in his scholar's eyes. It's said to be a place of visions and revelations. The legends whispered of the lake's magical properties, revealing truths to those seeking guidance. Compelled by this promise, the group descended into the valley, intent on delving into the lake's depths of revelation. As they approached, a sudden rustling erupted from the underbrush. Aelin tensed, hand instinctively reaching for the shard. "Leora?" Eldrin questioned. Did the forest anticipate our arrival? A grin played across Leora's lips. Let's find out. From the shadows emerged a creature of ethereal beauty, an elkrind, its antlers intertwined with vines and flowers that pulsed with the cadence of life. Eyes as deep as the earth regarded them with curiosity. It's rare they reveal themselves, Leora whispered, awe enveloping her tone. The lake must trust our intentions. With graceful steps, the elkrind led them to the lake's edge, the water mirroring its celestial charm. Island knelt, cautiously peering into its depths. Images began to shimmer, a tapestry of the past and the future, whispers of hope, a heart of celestial light reawakening. Island's breath caught in her throat as the vision unfolded with poignant clarity. It's the path forward, she murmured, sharing the wonder with her companions. The elkrind, silent and wise, lowered its head in solemn acknowledgement, its gaze conveying a blessing that soothed their fears. As they turned away from the lake, the path less daunting now, they carried the vision with them, a beacon of purpose. For as long as the shard's light continued to guide them, the journey, spurred by their courage and determination, carried the promise of renewal for all of Orinthia. With their spirits fortified by the revelations of Veilwater Lake, Island and her companions pressed onward, veering into the looming crescent peaks. This part of Orinthia was a tapestry of stone and mist, where shadows pranced and the air thrummed with age-old enigmas. It's here, Eldrin said, shifting his spectacles with an eager adjustment. The Valley of the Celestial Seers lies just beyond the next ridge. Aelin felt a tingle of anticipation. Would they finally find the answers they sought, or merely more questions? Halfway up the rugged path, a low growl rippled through the air, freezing them in their tracks. The group halted, senses heightened. Oh, splendid, Ithran muttered, every contour in his cloak drawing deeper in the twilight. Spectral beasts. 3 pairs of spectral eyes glowed in the dimness, and from the shadows emerged creatures of ethereal form, half seen, half felt, prowling with a flickering aura. How do we fight them? Aelin inquired urgently, clutching the shard. We don't, Ithran replied. Not by strength, but by understanding. Leora took a step forward, her voice threading the air like a sylvan charm. Beasts of spectre and night, heed the shard that knows the light. The beasts hesitated, their ethereal bodies wavering at her words. In their indecision, Aelin stepped forward, holding the shard aloft. Its glow flared to life, weaving through the air like a resonant melody. The creatures paused, eyes fixed on the shard. For a taut moment, time held its breath, until the beasts lowered their heads in a reluctant bow, then turned and vanished into the shadows. Aelin released a breath she didn't realize she was holding. I think we befriended them, she said in wonder. In a manner of speaking, Ithran agreed, a rare smile playing at his lips. With danger averted, they continued their trek, with reaching the other side of the ridge just as the sun dipped below the horizon. There it was, the Valley of the Celestial Seers, a land ensconced in luminescent mists and punctuated by ancient standing stones arranged in harmonious patterns. The descent felt like stepping into another world, one where the air thrummed with ancestral knowledge. A sense of anticipation curled in Aelin's chest, hope whispering through the cool breeze. At the heart of the valley, the standing stones glowed with latent power, and among them, an ancient altar awaited. The site was alive with an energy that seemed to pulse in tandem with the shard, like a celestial heart aligning with its counterpart. "We've found it," Aelin said, scarcely able to contain her awe. "The Seer's Sanctuary." Eldrin, ever analytical, nodded, scribbling notes frantically. The convergence of ley lines, remarkable. Even standing at the threshold of revelation, they knew the true challenge lay ahead. What mysteries the sanctuary held remained elusive, hidden behind veils of time and history. With night unfurling its velvet blanket above them, the group camped on the valley floor, their hearts alight with possibilities. As stars burned bright in the sky, echoing the shard's luminescence, Aelin closed her eyes, letting the rhythm of celestial sleep guide her dreams towards the dawn and whatever it may bring. Dawn broke with an ethereal brilliance, casting a golden hue over the Valley of the Celestial Seers. Aelin awoke with a sense of purpose, as if the very land had infused her dreams with clarity. As they gathered around the ancient altar, a quiet reverence fell over them. The stones surrounding them whispered forgotten secrets, coaxed into hearing by the gentle fingers of the wind. Eldrin consulted his notes, eyes glinting with the thrill of discovery. According to ancient texts, the seers would use these stones to commune with the cosmos, a connection between worlds. And the shard, Ithran added, is the key. Aelin stood at the heart of the circle, holding the shard which glowed with a matching celestial light. As its luminosity intensified, the standing stones responded in kind, humming with an energy that resonated in her very bones. "I can feel it," she breathed, her voice a barely audible murmur. "A pulse, a rhythm." The air shimmered as if quivering with anticipation, and from amidst the stones stepped figures clad in robes of pure light. The celestial seers, their presence both ancient and timeless, emerged from the mists. "Welcome, travelers of fate," a voice echoed, gentle as the gentle caress of a breeze. "You have awakened the heartbeat of the cosmos." The seer extended a hand toward Aelin, acknowledging her role. "Bearer of the shard, what questions weigh upon your heart?" Aelin, grounded by the presence of her friends, voiced her query. "How do we prevent the darkness from consuming Orinthia? How do we reawaken the celestial heart?" The seers exchanged glances, their expressions enigmatic yet filled with understanding. "The answers you seek lie not in these stones, but within you. The light you carry must be shared, for only unity can overcome shadows." "Your journey," another seer added, "is about more than destitution and survival. It is about a legacy, a beacon for those who come after." Leora stepped forward, curiosity piqued. "Then how do we unlock the shard's full potential?" "Faith," the seer replied, "in one another and in the purpose you have been given. The celestial heart is not a destination but a path. Each step you take fans the flame of hope and drives back the night." The shard trembled in Aelin's hand, its glow merging with the seer's aura. For a fleeting eternity, she saw the tapestry they wove. A destiny tied to theirs, an unbroken chain of light. As the vision faded, the seers began to dissolve back into the ether, leaving behind a lingering warmth. "Remember, Aelin, the heart beats within you," echoed their parting words. The companions stood, absorbing the weight of the revelation. Their path was clearer now, their mission a song that would echo through history. "A new dawn," Ithran said softly, his eyes reflecting the shard's light. Without another word, the group turned back the way they came, more resolute than ever. They carried within them the fire of the stars, burning bright against the ever-encroaching shadows. And in that radiant dawn, as if by silent accord, they each knew their greatest adventure had only just begun. As the group departed the valley of the celestial seers, the ancient wisdom imparted to them lingered, buoying their hearts with renewed conviction. Each step seemed to echo with purpose, a rhythm in sync with the shard's persistent light. The landscape shifted as they journeyed, moving from the mystical serenity of the valley to the untamed wilds beyond. The land seemed to breathe and change beneath their feet, forests giving way to rolling plains that stretched vast and open, like an unbroken promise. The terrain welcomed them with open arms, yet Aelin could feel the shadow growing at the edges of this idyllic world. It was a reminder of the darkness threatening to engulf all, an omen urging them ever onward. "Where to next?" Leora queried, scouting ahead with a practiced grace. "The seers gave us guidance, but the road remains unclear." "We must seek the Heartstone," Eldrin proposed, recalling an ancient map sketched within his tome. "It is the core of Orinthia's pulsating energy, a place where the celestial and terrestrial converge." "And if we rekindle the Heartstone," Ithran mused, idly tracing patterns in the dirt with his staff, "the celestial heart itself may awaken, casting light upon the deepest shadow." Aelin felt the shard pulse in her hand, an eager affirmation of their path. "Then that's where we must go. We're closer to uncovering the essence of our quest." Their journey took them through fields of golden wheat that swayed like the sea under a gentle breeze. Villages peppered the landscape, their inhabitants at peace but blissfully unaware of the impending darkness. At one such village they encountered a wise elder seated before a well-weathered home. His eyes, pale yet keen, tracked their approach. "Greetings, travelers," he said, ushering them to rest. As they gathered around, the elder spoke of stories passed down through generations. "My father spoke of a time when light coursed through the veins of the land, a time when even the stars danced closer." "And what became of it?" Aelin inquired, her curiosity piqued. The elder sighed, his gaze cast toward distant mountains. Slumber took the land, but legends speak of those destined to rekindle the light. You think us these legendary figures? Ithran asked, one eyebrow raised. I see the shard, the elder replied with a knowing smile, and I believe. Buoyed by the elder's faith, the group departed the village, newfound resolve in their hearts. As night descended, the stars emerged one by one, ethereal beacons that guided their way. Yet as they pressed on, shadows began to gather once more, summoned by an unseen force drawn to the shard's light. They could feel it, a growing darkness stalking just beyond their periphery. But no matter the odds, they moved with purpose, drifted forward by hope and by the promise of a dawn where light would once again conquer darkness. With their destination ahead, the Heartstone waiting to be awakened, they steeled themselves for whatever challenge awaited. Stories yet unwritten, destinies yet realized. The journey to the Heartstone took the companions through a realm where ancient magic thrummed beneath every footfall. An air of anticipation gripped the landscape, the aura of prophecy thickening with every step. As they journeyed, Aelin felt the shard grow warmer, its light a constant companion, urging them forward. It was as if an invisible thread connected the shard to their ultimate destination, guiding them with a gentle, insistent pull. The group traversed a majestic forest, its towering trees whispering secrets of old. Here the wind carried a strange melody, a tune only Aelin seemed to decipher. We must be close, Aelin murmured, her heart quickening with each note that danced on the breeze. Ithran, ever watchful, nodded. The magic here is palpable. The Heartstone must be near. Guided by the song of the wind and Aelin's unwavering intuition, they pressed deeper into the woods, eventually emerging at the edge of a vast glade. At its center rose the Heartstone, a colossal monolith carved with celestial symbols, pulsating with a myriad of colors, the heart of Arinthia given form. Aelin approached with reverence, the shard radiating with a resplendent warmth that echoed the Heartstone's rhythm. As she neared, a low hum filled the air, a harmony of energy and light. What now? Leora whispered, her voice filled with awe as she took in the sight before them. We unlock its potential, Eldrin said, trembling slightly as he flipped through the last pages of his tome, each word a key turning in the lock of understanding. Aelin raised the shard high, its glow synchronizing with the Heartstone. Light threads shot from the stone, weaving around the companions, binding them in luminescent bands of fate. From the shadows of the glade, voices began to rise, a chorus of whispers merging into a symphony of unity. The Heartstone's pulse matched the heartbeat of the land itself, a living testament to Arinthia's spirit. The ground beneath them thrummed, the beat matching Aelin's racing heart. Share the light, she intoned, a phrase whispered from dreams unknown. Zest and courage flooded the companions as light surged from the shard, cascading into the Heartstone. A cascade of radiance exploded upward, sending a column of pure luminescence into the sky. As swiftly as it began, the illumination subsided, leaving the Heartstone glowing softly, an eternal beacon. The companions stood breathless, gazing at their handiwork, the threads of light beginning to dissipate like the first stirrings of dawn. We've done it, Ithran declared softly, a potent mix of triumph and relief in his voice. Yet even as they celebrated, the earth beneath them shivered. Dark tendrils crept out from behind the trees, shadows growing bolder, enveloping the glade's fringes. This isn't over, Aelin warned, her eyes narrowed at the encroaching darkness. The final test awaits. We must face the shadows to ensure the light remains. With darkness threatening to reclaim what they fought so hard for, the companions steeled themselves, ready to face whatever trials the heart of Arinthia yet held. The world stilled in a primal hush, as if drawing a collective breath. Shadows danced beneath the canopy, the darkness seeping into the glade, testing the fabric of their resolve. Aelin, bracing herself, felt the familiar weight of the shard grow heavier, its heartbeat syncing with her own. Ithran, she began, focusing on the Shadowmancer's calm demeanor. Can you sense where they're coming from? Ithran closed his eyes, extending his senses into the encroaching gloom. It's more than shadows, he replied, his voice tense with concentration. Something deeper, something wanting to reclaim what you've awakened. Aelin nodded, understanding the gravity. Yet even as the darkness thickened, a spark of defiance ignited within her, a fierce refusal to let their hard-won victory be overturned. Eldrin, his scholarly mind whirring, stepped beside Aelin. The Heartstone's power can repel them, but it needs us, all of us, a focused unity. Let's show them who truly holds the light, Leora added, her voice daring as she shifted into a ready stance. The companions formed a circle around the Heartstone, taking strength from each other's presence, their shadows weaving into the growing light, a tapestry unbreakable. Aelin raised the shard once more, its energy flowing through her like a torrent of starlight. Together, they channeled their will into the stone, concentrating on the unity forged from their journey. "We stand as one," Aelin intoned, and the shard responded, casting waves of light to build a barrier against the pressing dark. The shadows, relentless and wraith-like, clawed at the boundary, testing its integrity. But unity held strong, a bastion of light in the heart of the glade. Each companion contributed a piece of themselves, hope, laughter, courage. This was their strength, a force born of friendship and destiny. Yet even as they fortified their resolve, the shadows shifted, coalescing into a form that towered and loomed, a visage cloaked in dark majesty, eyes reflecting the void. "I am the shadow of Anaroth," it declared, its voice echoing with deep malice, "and I shall consume this light." Aelin and her companions, unfaltering, gathered their energies, intertwining them with the Heartstone's pulse. For Aelin, a realization unfolded. The celestial heart within the stone was not just power but consciousness, desiring to protect, to guide. Summoning every ounce of resolve, Aelin confronted the shadow, her voice unwavering. "Arinthia is ours to protect, and its light will not dim." The Heartstone's light flared, striking out against the unrelenting darkness. An inferno of illumination enveloped the glade, burning with the hope of an unyielding dawn. In that critical moment, the shadow of Anaroth faltered before the sheer intensity of their joined spirit. As their combined will soared, the shadow recoiled, its form unraveling into tendrils of vanquished void. Yet as the shadow disintegrated, they realized the cost of victory. Exhaustion weighed heavy, and though the immediate darkness had been dispelled, the challenge of safeguarding the light remained. Their journey was far from over. Aelin, gripping her companion's hands tightly, sensed the shard cooling, though its light embraced them still. "There will be more shadows," she said softly, "but together we can endure." With their unity woven tighter than ever, the group stood back, watched the dawn paint the sky, and knew that the real journey to secure the future was only beginning. The dawn's embrace felt more precious than any before, tinged with the warmth of triumph, interlaced with the fragility of lingering uncertainty. The Heartstone's glade, still echoing with remnants of their victory, was a sanctuary reclaimed. Aelin, flanked by Ithran, Leora, and Eldrin, stared ahead at the expansive horizon, each of them newly aware of Arinthia's vast tapestry, a world they'd only begun to understand. Silently they packed their few belongings, the morning quiet except for the rustle of leaves and their shared breath, the calm after a storm barely weathered. "What now, Aelin?" Leora asked, joining Aelin's side, her tone a mixture of exhilaration and apprehension. Aelin considered, the weight of the shard now a familiar reassurance in her pocket. "We've reignited hope, but our path stretches beyond even the Heartstone. We must carry this light forward, spread it to every corner of Arinthia." Eldrin sighed, adjusting his spectacles as sunlight glinted off the lens. "There are places that have forgotten hope, towns where shadows still hold sway." "And legends yet untold," Ithran added, his voice a soft murmur, his gaze distant as if the light had opened new pathways for his own shadowy heart. The realization that their mission transcended a singular victory hit them deeply. Their experiences had solidified a bond unbreakable, and they were more than a group of diverse companions. They were the custodians of a brighter future. The Heartstone, resplendent with mellow luminescence, seemed to pulse in agreement with the dawn, as if offering its blessing for the journey that must follow. As they departed the glade, every footstep felt the weight of what lay ahead. Lands untouched by recent revelations, communities yearning for the light of rediscovery. Days folded into nights as they traveled, the shard a compass by which they navigated the languished pockets of Arinthia. Its light brought whispers of hope, tales of ancestral courage retold with fresh vigor. They ventured into villages, rich with stories, where each heart kindled by their presence became a beacon against the night. The Shard sang its silent song, uniting folklore with present reality, guiding their passage like the stars once led mariners. Through forests lush with secrets, across open oceans of wind-swept grass, the light from the Heartstone beaconed, a rallying cry for the resilient spirit within all of Arinthia's children to join. Aelin, as the rightful bearer of the celestial shard, found her voice uplifting those met along the way. She inspired belief, not only in the power of light but in the strength found when hearts beat as one. Together, the group moved as if through new dawns, every moment. The darkness would always seek to press in, shadows ever lurking in twisted corners, but now they surged forward with determination knit tightly. Under the twin moons, where once had fallen despair, now shone a luminescent future. Each moment a reminder that more than just light had been rekindled, a living legacy carried through Arinthia's soul. With the veil of uncertainty parted, Aelin and her friends stood at the forefront of a new era. Together, they would write the next chapters of Arinthia, a narrative woven by the unity of light and shadow, courage and love. And so their journey continued, unwinding like the sweet melody only the wind could hum, an anthem to the brilliance yet unfurled in the world beyond.